All right. So, as I said, I was online the other day and I scoured the internet to try and find content, and I found a hand drawing and it just blew me away. So, this is what we're going to model today. I think this design is fantastic. You can see it's got scroll work going around the ring. It also has it has Milgrain going around the ring, sorry, and then around the stone, and then it's got tapered stones that go all the way down the shank. It's got a kind of a bezel set right here with little cutouts. So we're going to be doing this one today. All right, so every ring, right, we need to start with a ring rail. So under the tools, I'll select ring rail. So here's where we would choose our customer's finger size. We'll just do 6.5. And once we're done, we can right click. And what it'll do is accept that command. So now it's in my viewport. The next thing we need to do is add an outside shape. So from the picture, right, we can see it kind of cathedrals up a bit, but there's no like gallery window. So we can do this by changing the rail shape. If I select the profile right here, we can choose, let's choose number 7 and select. So now I can use the viewport handles. If I hold shift, it will snap to 0.5 increments. So let's go to 5.5. And then over here, I'll go to 2. And at the bottom, I'll go to 2 as well. So once I'm done, I can right click. And now we have the overall shape, the through view shape of our ring. So let's add some profiles to these rails. So I can profile place right here under tools. And then it's asking me to select a curve. So I want to select my inside finger rail, and you can see I get a panel that opens up. So using the viewport handle, I can move this profile around. So essentially how CAD works, I have a profile, which will be my shape, and then I have a rail, which that profile will follow around to make a solid, right? As you can see, it's not touching this top one, so I need to relate it to that outside rail by clicking the box and then selecting the outside rail. So now, no matter where I pull this, right, it will never get taller than that outside rail. So we need to change the profile shape. Let's go ahead and select our profile. And I want to choose, let's do number 15. If I select, actually, now that I look at it, let's do this one. All right. Let's try that one more time. That way I messed up and clicked off. So let's choose number 17, double click, and using the white dot, I can pull it to the shoulder. Now our profile placer for MatrixGold is a bit differently. So you see on my origin curve, as I move the cursor around it, I have a white dot that follows. So everywhere I click, I can add a profile. Now, I don't need this many profiles, obviously, so we can delete those. Let's select the one we do need, and if I hold shift, it will snap to the bottom. So we have a pretty strong taper right here, right? So it tapers pretty strongly. So let's go ahead and go to 3, and this one is 4.5. So that should be good. And what I want to do is right click to accept. So now I have those two profiles and my two rails. So what I want to do now is what's called a sweep. So what it's going to do is going to take this profile, follow these two rails down to this profile. So let's select sweep 2. I'll select inside, outside, and then my profiles in order and right click. So as you can see, we have a solid that's been created. So I don't need my dome down here. So let's untoggle the mirror caps. So this is going to be my end. So let's toggle that off. And let's keep this one up. So let's right click. And if we look, I think I need to go a little bit wider up top. Sorry, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but this will show you how nothing is ever finalized in MatrixGold. So you can always come back here, edit, and increase if you want. There we go. Let's come here. Let's see what this looks like. And that looks pretty good. Looks pretty close. Close enough, right? So let's right click and accept. So now I have 1/2 of my shank, right? The next thing we need is going to be a stone. So let's go under the gems, and I'm going to get a gem on ring rail, and this will relate my stone to my original ring rail. So let's pull it up about there. Let's choose a 7mm. Let's go about here. And if I right click, I'll show you guys, everything in this model is parametric. So if I need to go smaller, you can see it stays relative to my finger, right? So that's the parametric history. Now we can elaborate on this and keep it going, until the end of the model. I just wanted to kind of show you guys what parametric history is. Now, if we look at our model, right, we need to put this kind of bezel or rail that sits on the finger around it. So I can do that with, well, there's a few ways. The easiest I find would probably be a gallery rail or an under bezel. So let's change the shape. I want a square. Let's reduce the thickness because we don't need it that thick. Pull it in and then pull it to our finger rail. Maybe go a little bit wider, a little bit further, and let's angle it like so. If I right click, we have a bump right here that we can just come to profile place. Then we can just pull it in. We can get rid of this excess later on, but I just wanted to show you guys. All right, so let's cut this to our finger rail. So under cutters, I have cut to ring rail. If I select it, then select my object and right click, you can see it has now cut it to my finger rail size. All right. So next thing we can do is our cutters. So if we look at the picture one more time, we have, let's see if I can zoom in. We have these cutouts, right? So let's do those, and those can be done with scallop cutters. So right here, I have scallop. If I select it, it will put them on my gem automatically. So let's change the count, right? I need to have 3 in the front, which should be 8. Now we can pull these down and reduce the size. Like so. Let's pull them down a bit. You don't want them too close to the fingernail because you will have to put the Milgrain, right? So I'm actually thinking about increasing the number or decreasing the shank width. Let's see what 10 looks like. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let's hide our gem real quick so we can see inside. And let's reduce the width. Let's pull it in, reduce it a bit more. Told you guys I was a perfectionist, right? Let's angle, pick up. And that looks good. So I can right click. All right, so what I want to do now is Boolean the gallery rail, but I don't need to Boolean with every single one of these, right? So let's go to solids and I can select Boolean difference. So here's asking select first surface, which will be my gallery rail. I can right click. And now holding Control and Shift, I want to select only the ones I want to cut. And if I right click, you can see it's now cutting those out. So I can right click once done. These right here, I don't need, so I can hide them. You can select the kebab menu and hide if you want, if you wish to hide them completely. But I do need to adjust the width of this. So let's edit the profile placer. Let's go down just a bit. Right there. Let's edit this and take some of the dome out. There we go. Any questions thus far? I can bring my gem back by selecting the eyeball. All right, so we can move forward a couple of different ways here. We can start with our gems, or we can start with our halo. I tend to want to complete everything about the center first. So I want to select the center and I want to put a halo around that's going to hold the Milgrain halo of this drawing, okay? So selecting our gem, I can go to settings and run halo. Now you see it presents us with the builder and it puts stones and prongs and but that's no matter. We can hide all of this, but let's get the inside. And then we want to scroll up right here where it says enable channel gems. Let's turn those off. Let's hop to level 2. And here we can further adjust it, right? So let's reduce this. Let's pick it up. give it a channel for our stones. And I want it a little less thick. So right here under profile height, I want to change to 1. That looks good. Let's pull it down just a tad more. And then right here on width, we can do 1.5. We can then angle it. Let's do 1.75. And there we go. If I pull the drawing back out, you can see we created the halo, right? We just need the head and then the Milgrain, right? So let's finish our head. So here I can go to the head builder under settings. And from here, I want to reduce the rail count to 0. I want to pull the overall height up. Then I want to angle it in like this. You can then, bend if you wish. Let's pull the height above girdle down. Let's reduce the head size like this. And then I can go up to level 2 right here. And I can give the head that set look. So I want to extrude the dome and then turn it on top of my stone like this. And if I right click, I have that set look. So next thing we need to do is complete the Milgrain around the head. So let's go ahead and extract an isocurve. Under curves, I have extract isocurve. So I can select my halo. Let's turn it to 180. And then I can pull it down into my channel. If I can get the object. Let's try it right here. Okay, I can just use this. Let's go about right here. That looks good. All right, one more thing. I didn't realize that the gallery rail was sticking through the halo, so let's edit this. And what I'll do is just pull it down a tad bit. Like this. So let's select that curve, go under solids, and we have object on curve. If I select this, it will present my Milgrain. Let's grab the end and pull it all the way around. And here I can reduce the spacing, reduce the size, and even pick it up. Like this. Let's give it a little more spacing. And I see I'm too close to the wall right here. So if I edit my ISO curve, I can then pull it closer to my channel, right? So let's go a little bit closer. Like this. And right click. All right, so last thing we need to do are the stones and then the Milgrain around the finger rail. Let's move him to the side. So Again, I want to extract an isocurve that goes down my shank. Just to be exact, I can put 0.5 on the V, and that will make it halfway down my surface. So I can right click. Let's select that curve, run a gem on curve. And what this will do, that curve that we just created, it will make gems follow it like this. Now we have a taper, right? Let's pull them down about here. And we have a taper. Let's go a little bit further up. So we actually have a mid taper and an end taper. So let's turn both of those on. I guess we will start with 1.5. Let's do 1.5. Then let's go larger up here. Something like this. If I right click, I can now bring my picture back. Looks pretty close. So now we need to do our Booleans for the scallops. I want to select these stones one more time, edit them. I want to relate them to my object. So now when I pull the placement, they will follow that object. Let's pull them into the surface. There we go. And right click. One more time, I will get a channel cut to do the graver cut. Let's go to wireframe so we can see inside. Let's pick it up. I want to untoggle mirror settings because I don't want this one quite as far. And I want this one to be sharp. All right. So when I'm done, I can, let's try this. Let's go down to 40 again. Let's make sure this one is at 40. And if I go back to plastic, we can see what I did. So we can right click. So next thing we need is going to be the scallops. So here I have micro prong cutters. So you can see having my stones selected and running the command will populate the scallop cutters. I need to change the shape. So if I do that, we can choose a number 3. And now they're that half round shape, right? I can also choose a style under the kebab menu. You can see I have quite a few. Let's choose this one. Nope, this one. And load. So this is a style that I already have saved. We just need to extend the length. And maybe extend it a bit more. Let's do 2. Let's pick it up. That way it's not cutting that line. There we go. And I can right click. So I think all of our cuts are done. Maybe. I may need to go a little bit wider. So let's edit these. Let's increase the middle width.
It's very cool, Bo, how you can keep editing depending on what do you see in real time, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's one of my favorite things about it. There's really no mistakes with MatrixGold, you know. You can always come back and edit if you want. So once I'm done, I can select solid, Boolean difference. Actually, let me mirror this and everything over. Let's mirror this. Under transform, I have mirror. I can join these two shanks. Now they are one object. Let's mirror these cutters and stones.
There is something, Bo, that I always think when you are doing any webinar, and this is good to let the users know, is that you can do what you are doing from different ways. So a difference that I see between you and me when we are designing is that you always like to do half of the ring, and I always do it in just one go. And I'm not saying which one is better, but at least, everyone finds the way to do it at their own way. So it's what MatrixGold allows, this flexibility to each user use it how it's better for them.
Yeah, that's true. They say there's multiple ways to skin a cat in the States. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but all right, guys. So you saw I did the cutouts, right? So the scallop cutouts, and then I Boolean them from the shank. So I see I'm not trying to do a split prong French set. So I also want to grab these stones and run a channel cut one more time. I also want to change the shape to more of a square. Let's go through view, and I really just want it at the very tip top. Let's change this to flat. And now let's make it wide. Need to pick it up just a bit more. Let's go toggle mirror settings. Let's make this one wide, increase, and then pick it up. Let's come down a bit more. And right click, and then I can mirror this over to the other side. Let's Boolean under solids, Boolean difference. Right click, and there we go. Now we don't have that overlap. Last thing we can do is run our prong placer. I can increase the prong size down here. I can open them up. Let's make them a little taller and increase the dome amount, increase the taper. When I right click, I can take these and just mirror. Right click. There's our prongs. Last thing we can do is put the Milgrain, if I find my picture, not that one, this one. Put the Milgrain. So this is very simple. I can extract another isocurve, select our shank, and let's put it about here. I can go to solids again, object on curve. Let's pull them around. If I grab it, I want to make the end bigger than the bottom. So let's go ahead. Something like this. Let's go up to the top. And those are big.
And probably the customers here, both, they can see that, and this is why MatrixGold is very intuitive, that what you are doing here is the same that you did with the stones. So the same settings that you are using with this Milgrain is the ones that you have been using with tapering the stones on the shoulders.
Yep.
So once you understand how to use the gems on the shoulders, it will be easier for any user to understand how the objects on curve works.
Yeah, that's very true because they operate the same exact way. So for the Milgrain, I need to get them over to the other side, but I can also mirror to the back side as well. So currently it's toggled Y, so I need to mirror X, mirror Y, which is essentially a rotate copy. But I also need to toggle the multi on, and then it will mirror all directions. All right, so the last thing I need to do is complete the Milgrain on this. To do this, I can pretty much do the exact same and extract an isocurve. Let's toggle it. Sorry guys, my computer is a bit slow. Let's go ahead and move this down. About here. Maybe a little more. And if I right click, I now have that curve. So once again, object on curve. Use the viewport handles, pull them around. Let's reduce the size. Like this. Like this. Like that. Right click. Lastly, select this. Need to mirror to the backside. Select mirror. Right. And then toggle Y, but toggle the X. and right click. And there we go. That's our ring completed. I see we have a few questions, so I want to kind of show you guys. All right. So we do have a question. Kylie asked, so Booleans will update if the cutters are changed.
This is the main one,
Yeah.
Bo.
Yeah.
This is the question that we were waiting for, Kylie.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing about MatrixGold. So because everything is parametric, I can come down here, edit these stones. Let's pull them further down here, let's say. So the software is intuitive enough to know that I'm adding 5 stones. If you'll snap back for me. Trying to get it perfect. There we go. I will let go. So because it's already calculated, it will take a second to recalculate the Booleans, but you can see it automatically updated. When I right click, it now updates with those stones. Say you want to change different number of stones or size of stones on the shanks. And Kylie, this is exactly why MatrixGold was created, right? Customers, you design and you're like, the customer comes in, I love it. But then you hear that but, right? That but just like, so what do? You got to, in other softwares, you have to essentially redo everything, right? In MatrixGold, you can simply edit commands and they will update. So let's say, customer wants a larger stone up top.
And the best thing of that also is that once you save this file, you keep all this parametric history. So the next time that you open the file, you still have all these steps, all these linear steps, so you can make any change at any time.
Yep. And that's the power of parametrics.